Hello, everybody, and welcome to Will's Tech News Now. This is December 8th, 2020, in the morning. I am actually deciding to do this once, maybe twice a week if possible, but mostly just once a week. It's hard to keep up with news every day. So, this is day 3. A little bit about me. Hello, I'm Will, the founder of this exciting new Quickie Tech News channel. I am a small time Twitch streamer gamer, and I like intellectual things of all sorts. I'm starting this news channel for one purpose: to just get the basics to all the tech people out there who just want the straight up facts. So be patient with me as I'm new to this, and I will try to do weekly news reports, things, and enjoy. Alright, today on our agenda: Windows 10 security, stability, privacy, and last but not least, a little boost in performance and definitely a lot more privacy and security for sure. So, first thing I'm going to do is switch the scene over to my main desktop screen so I can show you. Click on the Windows Start button. See this little gear? Expanded, it says Settings. Open that up. Okay. I have Windows version 20H2. But most of this stuff is pretty much going to be the same for anybody. So first thing we're going to focus on is the first thing, system. Here we have display. There's nothing really special in here. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple to understand. So honestly, I wouldn't really worry too much about this stuff in here unless like you're gonna do multiple displays like I do. Next is sound. This is honestly, you just don't mess with a lot of this stuff in here because you can screw up your sound microphone and stuff like that if you mess with too much of this stuff because it's really finicky. Most I would suggest is making sure that your output and input are selected instead of by using default, and just related settings, Bluetooth and other devices. You can do if you have Bluetooth headset or something like that. Sound control panel opens up the original Windows sound control panel. We don't need to worry about that either. Microphone privacy settings, we'll get to that later. Alright, so notifications and actions. I shut mine off because it can get annoying. I only check this one because this one actually does help you. Everything else, uncheck. Now, I also turned off notifications from the senders by shutting off notifications here. It's the primary switch for notifications. But like I said, this is the only one you really need to keep checked if you even want that. I mean, you don't have to, but it really does actually help. It's one good thing there. Focus assist. Always have this off, everything off, because if you're having visual or hearing problems, yeah, you can use this to help you. But honestly, it's not best for disabled person. It's just more like setting an alarm clock or uh, mentions or notices or something like that. Basically, just honestly leave it off. It helps system resources. Power and sleep. This one you can set how you want, but honestly, if you're running a desktop and you're running it 24/7 like I do, I have them never turn off. But if you have a laptop and you're not plugged in, you may want to at least turn off the display or the whole machine. It's up to you. Storage, my favorite. Ignore the amount of storage used. I use a lot of storage as is. That's why I'm going to upgrade to a larger storage. But I turn this feature off because you do not want Windows freeing up space by getting rid of files you don't need. And honestly, you might need them. And don't worry about any of these settings. We'll get to that some other time. Tablet mode. If you have a tablet with Windows 10 on it, these settings are good to have. But if you're on like a laptop or a desktop, primarily a desktop, don't use it. Multitasking. You can use it if you want to, but honestly, over time, I tried it with and without, and honestly, I found it better with pretty much it all shut off and don't worry about it. Like, because, like, if you have a single monitor, I mean, that might help you out in a way. But if you're running multiple monitors on a desktop, but a laptop, it could help. It's up to you. Projecting to this PC. Don't even mess with any of this stuff. Leave it alone. Don't try to enable it or anything like that. That could be a security risk. Shared experience. This is where you have your account, your Windows account, which is also connected to your Microsoft account. I share this across devices because I have a tablet. My brother's got a computer who I live with, and but I have it my devices only. So, which is nice. Thank you, Microsoft, for making it to where if you turn the feature on, you can select what shares experiences. Other family computers, neighbors' computers, tablets, notebooks, cell phones, anything that's probably running Windows 10, most likely. Clipboard. I use off because clipboard shouldn't be sending and receiving or sharing any information in or out of your computer, so I just leave that off. It's another security and privacy risk. Remote desktop, for the love of God, it doesn't matter what system you're on, turn remote desktop off. Biggest vulnerability of all things in Windows 10. And then this is just about your computer. Yeah, and like I said, I'm running version 20H2, which right now they have a new optional core update. They're stopping about forcing mandatory core updates and making them optional. But yeah, this is what I've noticed in the last 3 months. Yeah. Click on home, devices. Bluetooth and other devices. A lot of this stuff, make sure you look through and make sure that this is all stuff that you want connected, that you know is all correct. You know all these devices. There's no mysterious devices connected. And turn off download over meter connections unless you're on a Microsoft Windows 10 cell phone and you have to use meter connections for the internet service you get over the cell phone service. So meter connections to that, but if you're on a laptop or desktop or even on Wi-Fi, you don't need meter connections. Printers and scanners, yeah. Don't let Windows manage your default. Don't download over meter unless, like again, Windows 10 cell. Mouse, honestly, you can adjust this, but I leave most of the stuff off, except for scroll inactive windows when I hover over them. This way, like if the window's not in the foreground, you can still scroll on it. But honestly, I'm gonna shut mine off because I like to make sure that the window I have in the foreground is the one I want to be scrolling anyway. Typing. This is some good features. Thank you, Microsoft, for actually doing this. All these settings that I have on, they actually help you, and there's no security risk or any spying on you or anything like that. It's just assistance to help make sure your grammar and uh, paragraphs and sentences and everything like that are all good. But like the rest of the stuff, I shut off because I don't need them. And like I said, you should shut them off. Honestly, you should shut off all of these if you have a Windows 10 mobile, because then it starts forcing words on you, and that can be annoying. Pen and Windows Ink only really works as if you have a stylus pen and tablet, cell phone, laptop, or a art pad. But you can't really shut it off. But you can go ahead and pick the handwriting. But right in the handwriting panel with your fingertip, shut that off because writing with your fingertip just smears the screen more. Autoplay. Always have autoplay shut off because it's freaking annoying. Every time you plug something in, pop up. Plug something in, pop up. Stick a DVD in, pop up. Stick a CD in, pop up. Put it in a new drive, pop up. Put in a thumb drive, pop up. Always asking you, do you want us to do this or that? Make it always do this every time we plug in the drive. Always shut this off. Saves you settings, system resources, and it's also helps with a little bit of security. USB. Now, I do leave the notify me if there are issues connecting to USB devices. That is good because this way, like if you have a worn out USB port, you plug a USB hard drive in, or your friend brings over a USB thumb drive to share some music with you or something. I don't know. And it's telling you it's having connectivity issues. Yes. Thank you, Microsoft, for putting this one little feature, this a tiny little feature all by itself here, so we can know if we're having connectivity issues. And trust me, that will save your butt a lot. Back to home now. Phone. Yeah, you should link your phone to your computer if you want to. But honestly, that could be a security risk. So I would recommend not. But that's totally up to you. Back to home. Here's an important one: network and internet. Make sure everything looks correct. Most of this stuff is features we're gonna go into later, some other week, day, whatever. But biggest one is network status. Is your computer Ethernet private network and connected to the internet? Should say you're connected to the internet. Um, beyond that, that's fine. Ethernet network connected. That's good. Like I said, we'll get into this stuff later. Dial up. If you're stuck having to use dial up, make sure you have a modem installed in your device, dial up modem, before you set up a new connection. VPN. I turn my VPN always on because that adds more security. Proxy. Automatically detect settings on. Everything else leave off and blank. Just let it automatically detect settings. That's more secure. Okay, personalization. Here's your background. Nothing to worry there. Colors. I turn off transparency effects, save system resources, unless you've got resources like me, but I still like it off because transparency annoys me. And then automatically pick accent colors for my background. I don't use that. I like to have my own colors. Here, if you check these boxes, it'll actually add the colors to your windows and title bars and stuff like that. That actually allows it to look more like original Windows and less like just just not as classic, not as unique. Basically, it keeps it looking more like this. Lock screen, my favorite thing. Pick the picture for it. Turn off fun facts, tips, and more from Windows or Cortana on your lock screen. Turn that off. And any apps you see in here, right click them, uninstall, or disable or remove. Always show lock screen background picture on the sign in screen. Yeah, you can have that on or off. If you have it off, it's just going to use the blank color. Honestly, I like the lock screen to have a picture. It helps you realize your computer is definitely personalized. But you can just have it a plain straight color. Themes. Honestly, don't worry about this too much. And these functions we're already kind of going over soon, or almost have done. Fonts. Honestly, you can select the different fonts you want to use. But I just use what Microsoft defaults. Again, these settings we'll get to in the future. Alright, let's see, where am I? Now start. Here's an important one. Your start button. Turn off show more tiles on start. Definitely show app list and start menu. Off, 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 off. Because again, that minimalizes, saves resources, doesn't annoy you, and helps protect you. Helps protect your privacy and your security. Last thing here, the taskbar. I lock the taskbar because that's just me. But you can turn that on and off. Turn off, turn off. It's up to you if you want small taskbar buttons. I'm used to it, but you can turn it off and it makes the taskbar buttons normal size, like when you just installed or got your computer. But I like small taskbar buttons. It just allows the desktop to have more visible space, and the taskbar is not like big and freaking an eyesore. That's how I feel. And the rest of these features off. Taskbar location on the screen bottom. Combine taskbar buttons never. When you combine taskbar buttons, that can get annoying. Keeping them all individually separate from each other makes it way easier to just click and get to the task of the app that's running. Notification area. We'll get into this stuff later. If you're running multiple displays, you can either have the taskbar on all displays, but I choose off because the taskbar only really needs to be on one display. Show contacts on the taskbar off. That's another security risk. Okay. Let's go back home. Apps. Apps and features. I choose to allow apps to install from anywhere, but for the general user, I wouldn't suggest that. But I'm an advanced user and I use a lot of precautions and a lot of third-party software. So, but for a regular user, I would just allow it only install from the Microsoft Store, if even that. Here's, and then it shows you the list of all your apps, blah blah blah. And the cool thing is you just right click, I think. No, left click to expand it. Give you more options or whatnot, but some of these, even the Microsoft ones, you can uninstall. Amazingly, yes, you can uninstall. But some of them you can't, and some of them are apps and features that you installed yourself that you don't want to modify or adjust or uninstall. I'll get into the more advanced later on. Default apps. Now, I use all third-party apps or programs. I don't use the Microsoft Windows 10 default. I don't use theirs. I use my own. And I honestly suggest that for everybody because that helps protect your privacy and your security. And I believe you can uninstall the default apps, at least not the browser, but media player and music player or photo viewer, video player, web browser. I don't think you can remove that. I mean, there is a way to remove that, but I'm not going to tell you how. Microsoft will get mad at me. Offline maps. Make sure everything has been removed and ah, I don't know why that was on. Must have happened with the update. Shut everything off. Apps for websites or with websites. If there's nothing in there, then you are super secure using my Windows provided browser. Video playback. Honestly, just leave this alone because it, eh, it doesn't really help with anything. Now, startup. This is all the stuff that starts up or doesn't start up. This is, you want to make sure you go through this, and this is the stuff you want to start up. If you don't want something starting up, just turn it off. Simple as that. But the stuff you want to start up with your computer, make sure it's on. Alright, so let's go back home. Accounts. Make sure that your Microsoft account is logged into and connected to your Windows 10. Don't sign in with a local account instead, because if you want actually better privacy and security, this is actually maintaining your info. So, in case you have to reinstall Windows, when you log into your Microsoft account for the first time, you log into Windows 10 after reinstalling, it will automatically authenticate the product verification, and it will load your synced settings, which makes going through all this not necessary again. Email accounts, make sure there's only one email on there, and it's for your Microsoft account. Sign in option. Now this is a lot more advanced, but I would say Windows Hello Pin. But if you're really paranoid, security key, picture password. Make sure that the Windows Hello sign in for Microsoft accounts. Make sure that is turned off. So Microsoft can't see you logging in and out. It helps your privacy from Microsoft spying on you. You can enable this option only if you have a mobile device that you walk away from for a prolonged period of time. But I wouldn't use it, especially if you're using like a security key and you forgot your security key at home, your laptop's at a restaurant, you had to go in and take a major dump, someone jacks your laptop, and so they're not going to be able to get into it, but neither are you until you get home with it. But that's a good way to keep people from hacking into it, even though there is ways to get around that. Sadly, there's restart apps. I'll leave that off. And last feature on. Access worker school. Honestly, don't mess with this. Just as bad as remote desktop. Don't even use it. Family and other users. Honestly, PC is short for personal computer. But if you have to have other people have accounts on it, go ahead and send them up. Just make sure you read everything about it. Make sure you read the help before you go on and using this feature, but use at your own risk. And like I was talking about, your Microsoft account connected to your Windows validation and account, sync your settings on, off, on. This you can consider a security risk, but like I told you earlier, if you do like I told you, it's not. So, out of accounts. Time and language, don't even worry about that area. Gaming. Turn the Xbox game bar off. Uncheck the box. Make sure everything is blank or disabled, doesn't matter. Captures. Make sure you have this off. Don't even remember that or worry about that. That's off. Yeah, make sure that's just unchecked. Basically, yeah, people could use that to hack into your camera. Security risk. Game mode off. Xbox networking. Don't even freaking worry about this. I may look into that more later. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Ease of access. That's for disability situations. Most of that stuff will already be off by default, so don't worry about it. Okay, search. Safe search. You can set that how you want. I just use moderate. Cloud content search. Microsoft account. Yeah, you want this enabled. Make sure nobody's trying to steal your Microsoft account or authentication for their own device. Work or school account off. History off. Searching windows. Stick with classic. Make sure, again, the rest of this is disabled. Whatever. Off. You can add excluded folders too. You don't want anybody to search or anything to search it. Good security measures. Privacy, here's a big one. Off, off, on, off. Speech, always off. Inking and typing, personalization, off. Diagnostics and feedback. I do optional because it's more secure. Off, off, off. And feedback frequency, never. Activity history. Do not use this. That's another way they can monitor you or someone can hack into you. All this stuff in here, you are going to want to go through it yourself and just read what it does. It's too much to go through right now. But most of this stuff I don't use. Most of it is minimal to off. And finally, last but not least, update and security. And have an optional update for me, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Delivery options. Do allow downloads from other PCs, but make sure it's PCs on your local network, not on your local network and PCs on the internet. You ping a PC for it, it's a hacker, he pings you back. Yeah, he could find a port that's open for this feature and do a total hijack on your system. Windows security. Make sure that this is always happy with you. If all these features are happy with you, and don't worry about these two. These two, you don't have to worry about those two, especially if you're using third-party security software like Kaspersky or Norton or Avast or what I love, vPray. Don't worry about those two. Backup. You can set up a backup. But honestly, that's only if you're a messy person. Troubleshoot. I don't run any troubleshooters, but if you're a general user, let troubleshooters automatically recommend what to do next. Recovery. Unless this is an emergency, please do not mess with recovery. As this will refresh and redo your computer and pretty much most of your stuff, whoop, gone. So don't mess with any of that. Activation. This is where you know if your Windows 10 copy is activated and legit. Find my devices. This one, you don't have to really worry. I'm actually gonna turn that off because that's a security risk. And for developers and Windows Insider program, don't worry about those. Alright, I ran you through it. Like I said, privacy, that one you're gonna have to go through and decide on what you want allowed and not allowed for your computer to do. But most of that stuff, I just shut it all off unless it actually is a benefit. But like I said, if you're really worried about it, get a hold of a Microsoft technician, go through it with them, or wait until I come out with a video going over all those. So for now, you can go ahead and close out of here. Well, I hope that helps a lot of people. That should help you be more secure, increase system resources, and one thing I suggest is a good program to get. It's called Glasswire. Just Google search Glasswire, all one word. Go to their website, download for free, go through the installation steps and procedures, and then let it start up with Windows, and it will monitor your internet/network activity. And you can use that to see if there's anything suspicious. If it seems suspicious, usually you can right click on it and get more info and its location too, from where it's coming on or off your computer and what it is, and it'll even tell you the risk level. So Glasswire, very nice to have. Much recommended. And that's a wrap, folks. Till next week, good day. I will get better in time, so be patient with me, and please leave comments to help me improve my show. So enjoy the show by yours truly, Mwah, Will Hood. So, till next week, good day.